Picture this. It's the late 2000s, or maybe the early 2010s. You're a young middle school kid, and you're known as the kind of quiet kid. You've been having trouble figuring out your own identity, and if you are even straight like you tell yourself you are. You find comfort in things like animation and music, and your newest discovery of Vocaloid, and more specifically Hatsune Miku, combines both of these. That was pretty much my middle school experience in the early 2010s. I had dealt with an autoimmune disease as a kid, so I was going in and out of doctors' offices more than I was making friends and building social skills. Because of this, I had become a much more quiet and socially awkward teenager. I wasn't able to really connect to other girls my age, especially since all they really cared about were boys, and at the time, I was dealing with a bit of an identity crisis, so to say. I had begun to realize that I just wasn't really interested in boys or gossip or really anything that was normal for a 13-year-old girl. I was nerdy, quiet, and I liked to draw. Some of my biggest inspirations came from music, and when I found Vocaloid, I was instantly hooked. Now, as an adult and fully open with the fact that I'm a queer woman, I have realized that Vocaloid has helped me to get to this point in a way. In this essay, we will be discussing the Sapphic side of Vocaloid and Hatsune Miku, but first off, who is Hatsune Miku? Hatsune Miku is a Japanese vocal synth program owned by the company Vocaloid-An Future Media. She was released on August 31st, 2007, and since then has been used in a multitude of different songs in multiple different languages. Some of her most famous songs include World Is Mine by Ryo, Sand Planet by Hachi, Viva Happy by Michi M, and Rolling Girl by the late Wawaka. Miku is a Vocaloid, which is the overarching term used for the brand of vocal synth she is. Vocaloid has existed before Miku, but Miku was the one who pushed it into the public eye. She is very popular in the anime and gaming community, and has even had live hologram concerts. I even went to one when I was in high school. It was quite the religious experience for me, to say the least. I even went dressed up in cosplay, which was really fun. Since then, Miku and Vocaloid as a whole has grown in popularity. Now, you might be asking, what is a Vocaloid? Well, a Vocaloid is a vocal synth program that was initially released in 2004. It was developed by Kenmochi Hideki while he was studying at the Pompeu Fabra University in Barcelona, Spain. And funny enough, he actually never intended it to be a commercial product. The first two Japanese Vocaloids that were developed by Miku's company, Vocaloid-An Future Media, were the Vocaloids Meiko and Kaito. Meiko and Kaito were also developed in collaboration with Yamaha. Many different music software companies have created their own vocal synth programs under the Vocaloid name, such as the Japanese company Internet Co. with their Vocaloid Gumi, and AH Software Co. with their Vocaloid Yuzuki Yukari. While many different companies make their own Vocaloids, Vocaloid-An Future Media is the most famous because not only are they the company that owns Miku, but they also do a lot of marketing with her and the other Vocaloids they own, with collectibles like figurines, plushies, officially licensed posters and keychains and stickers, and even official video games licensed by Sega, with the Project Diva series and the more recent Project Sekai mobile game. Many popular songs have been officially licensed by Vocaloid-An for those games, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We are here to discuss the LGBT side of Vocaloid. Starting off with one of the first LGBT Vocaloid songs, and arguably one of the most iconic songs that we will be discussing today, is Magnet by Minato. While Vocaloid has been around for nearly 20 years, by the time Miku was created, things like the LGBT community and gender ambiguity were also slowly being put into the limelight, so to say. Music artists were finding ways to use Vocaloid as a way of gender and queer expression. In early May 2009, Japanese Vocaloid producer Minato released the song Magnet, which depicted the female Vocaloids Miku and Luca as a lesbian couple. The lyrics are an artistic expression of trying to deny but ultimately accepting that they love each other despite both of them being women. The official artwork for this song further solidifies that this is a Sapphic song. Magnet has gone on to be one of the most famous Vocaloid songs because of its art and lyrics, and it's considered a Vocaloid classic. Magnet became an instant hit for both its catchy sound and the story it told. Magnet was the start of more Vocaloid producers being more open to writing women-loving women songs with the Vocaloids. Magnet was known as a pretty scandalous song at the time since it openly displayed and was about female homosexuality. The lyrics delved deep into the inner conflicts of coming to terms with being attracted to the same gender. Because of its infamy, other producers took steps to incorporating queer ideologies into their songs. Magnet was also featured in the many Project Diva games that were licensed by both Sega and Crypton. The next song I want to discuss is World's-End Dancehall by the late music producer Wawaka. Wawaka, as a music artist, was known to test the boundaries, so to say, of what could be the topic in musical lyrics. His famous song Rollin' Girl was an unfiltered story of dealing with depression and even sometimes letting that depression win. He wasn't afraid to be more out there with his lyrics, and World's-End Dancehall is no exception to this. Released in mid-April of 2010, World's-End Dancehall told the story of two girls being put in the situation of being lesbians stuck in a heteronormative society that's represented by dancehall. The song also uses Miku and Luca for a duet similar to Magnet, however, World's-End Dancehall isn't explicitly about the two. Rather, Miku and Luca are being used as the voices to tell the story. World's-End Dancehall had become one of my favorite Vocaloid songs for a multitude of reasons. The summer before my first year of high school, I had gone from a casual Vocaloid enjoyer to a nerdy superfan pretty much overnight. That whole summer, I binged playthroughs of the video games, listened to playlists after playlists on YouTube, and even drew fan art of all of my favorite Vocaloids and different songs that I enjoyed. Even with the countless hours of songs I had listened to, World's-End Dancehall stuck out to me. I had initially first heard the song in a playthrough of a Project Diva game, and it had gotten stuck in my head. The catchy guitar riff and fast tempo was mesmerizing, and I was just dying to know what the song lyrics were about. I looked it up and was met with countless translations and interpretations of the lyrics, but they all had a common theme, and that theme was female homosexuality. At the time, I was a bit surprised that Sapphic themes were a bit common in Vocaloid songs, especially with the characters Miku and Luca. After I had really thought about it, however, it made more and more sense to me why so many Vocaloid songs I had seen and heard had Sapphic themes. The vast majority of Vocaloids and their mascots were girls, or at the very least femme-presenting in nature. So Sapphic themes and women-loving women songs and lyrics kind of lent itself to the Vocaloid community. Because of this, I slowly started to feel more and more comfortable enjoying Vocaloid as myself and openly expressing the fact that I was a possibly queer teenager at the time. I didn't quite know who I was, and later on in high school even dealt with a gender crisis and thinking that I wasn't really a girl or a boy. But the more I listened to Vocaloid and found themes in their songs that I connected with, I began to feel more and more comfortable in my own skin, which honestly helped me through a lot of dark times in my life, especially in high school. So I mainly just want to say thank you to Vocaloid and Hatsune Miku for being there in some of the darkest times of my life. I want to end this little discussion off with just my final thoughts about Vocaloid as a queer woman myself. I would talk about more songs, but after doing my research on Sapphic Vocaloid songs, I had realized two things. One, there are so many of them that if I discussed more, we would be here for hours. And two, a lot of the Sapphic Vocaloid songs I found primarily used Miku and Luca, which, in my opinion, the two would make an adorable couple. So instead of going through individual songs, I thought I should just mention some Vocaloid music producers that make Sapphic-based Vocaloid songs. Maso Works Design, Focus Circus, Oyster Project, Grusher, Kira, and Project Overdose. And those are just a handful of the producers out there that have made more Sapphic-based Vocaloid songs. But Vocaloid isn't just something that lends itself to Sapphic lyrics either. There are plenty of male Vocaloids out there that have been used in songs pertaining to more gay men-related relationships, but they're very few and far between compared to the Sapphic Vocaloid songs. And that's pretty much it. The Vocaloid community and the queer community have quite the bit of an overlap in both songs and fans, and myself being one of those fans. Hatsune Miku and many other Vocaloids out there have been a part of my life and have helped me with finding comfort and finding my own gender and sexual identity. Vocaloid music has made me feel better about being the quote-unquote weird kid growing up, and without it, I wouldn't be the talented artist and aspiring animator I am now. So, thank you, Vocaloid. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am today.